Hello and welcome to Magical Travel Adventure. I am Lauren and I am here with fellow agent Keeley. Hi, Keeley.
Hello, Lauren.
And we are so excited today to talk about Epic Universe that is coming to studios in 2025.
No, I think it's 24. I think it's next year.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I know.
So if you don't know, Keely and I are both travel advisors, Carry On the Magic, and our agency specializes in Disney and Universal travel, but we also each do our. I specialize in cruises, and Keely,
You also do all inclusives.
yes. So you can contact us. Our information is below, and let's get to it. So, do you want to introduce what Epic Universe is?
So Epic Universe, it's a little bit of a departure, I think, from what Studios and Islands is. One of the big things is, and we'll look at a map later, is it's more of a spoke layout too. So it's a little bit different than where like Islands and Studios, you have like a lake in the middle, where this is kind of cool because it spreads out into lands. So it's similar to Islands of Adventure that way, but a lot of it's going to be IP. Actually, I think pretty much all the lands are IP. Yeah, they're all pretty much IP. So they're all, and it's going to be thrill rides, and it's going to just, everything's going to be heavily themed. The biggest one that we've already kind of seen has been the Super Mario Nintendo World in Hollywood. So we're going to see that here. So we've already kind of gotten a little bit of taste of how they're going to be themed, what it's going to look like, and then they're just going to expand upon it, which I think's amazing because Universal, they really rely heavily on their IPs. So I think this is what they've announced so far. I think is going to be really cool and really great, and especially for kids too, because I think it's going to be a little more for kids.
Except for one part.
Yeah.
Classic monster area. I'm not quite sure.
There's kids that go to Halloween Horror Nights. You know what? Some kids like that stuff. I was not one of those kids. I'm one of those adults. I'm not one of those kids. But yeah, so I think it's going to be a little bit geared towards kids, just a smidge more. Now, not the park that's going to be in Texas. That's obviously going to be family friendly all the way. But I think this one's going to be just a little bit more kid friendly, which I think is exciting.
I think that's interesting to talk about too, because Epic Universe will be in Florida, and it won't be exact where Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios are. It's going to be down the street a little bit, kind of similar to where their parks aren't in Disney World. They're not next to each other, but they're a little more spread out, and you need to take transportation of some sort to get there. But on top of this Epic Universe, Universal also announced, which we're not really talking about tonight, but we're always talking about it.
There's not much to talk about yet.
Right. We know that they're going to be opening up a family friend Texas, and there's also going to be something in Las Vegas, which might include something for Halloween Horror Nights all the time.
Halloween Horror Nights all the time. Yes. I put this one today, not even thinking about it. And I was like, oh my God, this is perfect. Yeah. So they've kind of like been trickling out little things here and there. But yeah, obviously the closest physically to us is going to be the one in Universal, and the closest opening date is the new Epic Universe in Universal.
So we have a little map. It's some friends of ours at, oh, I'm not going to remember now. Something go.
Was it Orlando one?
Orlando Park. Oh, this isn't good, guys. Anyways, that's not our test. But someone really awesome map. And we are here because not everything is here about Epic Universe. Like, we don't know exactly things. So even this might be a little bit of a guess of what things are. I mean, that it's definitely happening. And it's really funny because like I see things on here and it's like canceled restaurant.
That's my favorite. That and the possible Starbucks. I think those two are my favorite. The interactive boat ride. Yeah.
So we don't have all the answers, and even when it opens up in 2020, not mean that every single thing here will up. I think one of the biggest question I have is this hotel they have, And if it's going to open up, and along that is if the train is really going to make a stop at Epic Universe or
Yeah.
not. Like the real like train, like the travel train. Not it's like Amtrak, but that's not what it's called. In Florida, there's a specific train they're building.
Sun.
It's not Sunshine Flyer, but that's what I want to
So
say.
I know I think that's what I was going towards. I know I can't. It's some bright something. But
Oh,
I'm thinking bright suns. I don't.
yeah. We really did.
It's one of those.
Yes.
I think Brightline Express. I feel
Oh
like
yeah,
is
Brightline. Yeah, I feel
okay.
like
Yeah,
that's Brightline. Yeah,
Brightline. Perfect.
which
Um,
means that it would be eventually it's going to be a train that's going to go from the airport at this point to Epic Universe. That is the latest that we've gotten.
yeah. And the hotel, I'm curious if it's going to be a Universal hotel or Lowe's hotel.
Mm.
Because you kind of have both of those right now in Universal properties. So it kind of reminds me of the Disneyland Paris hotel, just the way that it's like, just from this, the rendering they have, and just the way it's kind of situated. I don't know, it just that's what it reminds me of. And I wonder what the
And
price point's going to be too.
to disappoint everyone, it is probably going to be any type of Harry Potter hotel.
Don't talk about it.
We all wish it would be, but I don't think it's gonna be.
I'm not going to lose hope. I'm not. I'm gonna hold on to it just like a little bit, but hey, maybe they'll build one like behind it, behind like where the Ministry of Magic's supposedly going to be. Maybe it'll be back there. They'll build a second hotel. That's
Yeah,
what the fireworks are covering up.
yeah, yeah. And it had also future expansion over here too, where
See?
these are. We don't need trees, you
It'll
know?
line up. Yeah. No, what do you need that for? It'll be right between How to Train Your Dragon and Harry Potter Dragons. It'll replace, and there's the dueling roller coasters are right there, which that's been confirmed. I don't think they've confirmed the theming or the name or anything, but I know that
They're
they're
being
building
built.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, like you can see it.
Yeah. So that's like Harry Potter. So I think the hotel's going to be there, but that's just my opinion.
Some really generous people, if you're not following on Twitter, hire helicopters and will take pictures so you can see the progress being done. And if you're cool like Keeley and I, you follow them and watch it. So, you know, you can see it being done. I will say like this is very different than like anything ever at Disney World that you like actually see progress and you're like, "Oh, okay. Yeah, like it actually will be done on time most like in 2024."
Unlike Tron.
Oh my gosh.
The progress pictures I have of that one over the past 4 years, 5 years, I don't even know. My husband's never known Magic Kingdom to not be under construction,
What's wrong?
while going to, because his first time going was in 2018 when he went with me, and it was under the railroad was still open. I think they just started, so the railroad was still open, but I have progress pictures from like then until just last month, and now it's open. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the fun thing about Universal is you actually can see the progress. They're not trying to like I get keeping it under wraps, but also I think it's really fun to just be able to see the progress of it. Like you said, kind of like, okay, this is actually happening. We can see it moving forward.
Yes. All right, so maybe we'll start in like sections. So since we started over here with Hair Dragon, we know that there's going to be some sort of dueling coaster thing going on. I'm really interested to know like do you like split up your party and try and race against other people in your party or
I
are
wonder,
you just against another random group of people?
yeah, I'm almost wondering because I'm trying to when we did the Dueling Dragons at Universal, I think my friends and I a few times did that where we would split up and one of us would go on one. And then I think my dad and I did that one time too when I was younger, like, and I would go with my parents. He would get on one, I would get on the other. At that point, I was brave enough to do it by myself. I mean, this was when I was like 18, but I didn't like roller coasters till I was like 16 or 17. So I was like a late bloomer with them. And obviously now I love them. But yeah, so I think that's a fun idea to be able to like race your friends or just, yeah, go with your friends and just beat the other people and you like taunt them. That's the other thing. I like you like taunt people like as you're like going. because dueling dragons, you couldn't do it as much on because you were going fast. But up, so I'm in Maryland, so I'm near Hershey Park up in Pennsylvania, and they have the dueling roller coasters, and it's wooden, so it's you're going a little bit slower, but that's what you do is you would kind of taunt the people in the other cars, lightning racers. Yeah, so that's part of the ride is taunting other people.
Yeah, it's so exciting. I'm not like a huge roller coaster person, but yeah, I am very excited that that's going to be there. Now, again, there seems to be some sort of play area, which is like Universal's thing. They like to have that play area for kids. So it's normally like nice for good kids. I have no idea what a Skyfly ride is going to be.
Yeah,
It's going to have something to do with sky and flying.
I wonder if it's not like a drop tower. I'm trying to think of what I can think of that's similar. Something that like you swing and you kind of like
Oh, like they drop you and then you
no,
oh, you think like a swirling thing.
like it's just like kind of off the ground, like not like Astro Orbiter or anything crazy like that, like up in the air, but maybe I don't. Yeah, sky. I don't. Yeah, you're gonna do some kind of flying, something.
Yeah. And then I think so another dragon coaster. Do we think this is gonna be for like kids?
I was gonna
Kids?
just from the size of it in comparison to the dueling one, I think that might be more like Barnstormer or Flight of the Hippogriff or something that's definitely on the smaller side. Where little one, especially because the play area is right there, and
Mhm.
it's a cartoon movie that kids like.
Right. And then they have some sort of boat ride. I actually haven't seen in any of the pictures, like the really nice helicopter pictures that I've seen. I don't know if because it doesn't take as long or I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
they have things before they dig a big hole in the ground.
confirming that the interactive boat ride is happening. Yeah,
Yeah. And then they have this meet and greet and a stage show. Like I feel like this is a lot.
yeah,
I didn't know How to Train Your Dragon had such popularity, but I guess we'll see.
yeah, yeah, and just from the rendering itself, if you just kind of look at everything, I feel like not even just the way the rendering is, I just feel like there's a lot there. Whereas you look at kind of the other lands, there's like 5 or 6 things where this is like, I mean, yeah, it just seems bigger just from the things they've listed, not even just the way that you're viewing it.
Right. I know this is super weird, but even just how to get into this land, like all I could think about is like, okay, so you have something here, so you can't like just come in and walk in.
Loop.
So you're walking all the way around here, and then there's just this tiny entrance like
Yeah,
over here. I'm hoping that just looks different. Like obviously this is just art.
yeah, yeah, because that's definitely going to be, because it almost seems like you're walking into like buildings, kind of like just like you're not walking into anything grand. Yeah, maybe it's just the sketch, because then I'm thinking like everything else, you kind of walk in and there's buildings leading you to, the center of the park or the focal point, whatever.
Right.
So maybe that's it. I don't know.
And I don't know if because it's so close in the foreground that it looks larger than everything else. So
Yeah,
I'm I'm sure it's just meant to be looking large.
yeah, it has to be. Yeah, I don't think it's actually. I think it does have, like I said, a little bit more things there, but I don't think it's going to be like that big compared to the others. Yeah.
All right, so we come in this way, and what's different is obviously Yo-Yo's and Islands Adventure. We have oh my gosh, what are all the shops called? Why am I blanking?
Oh, the mercantile.
No, like all the shops and the it's not Downtown Disney and it's not
Oh,
Disney
City
Springs.
Walk. I
City
know.
Walk. Oh my
I thought you
gosh,
meant like
thank
theme
you.
park. I was like, do they have one name? City Walk. Yes. Okay.
I'm like, why can I think of everything else but that?
I do.
So they have City Walk. You like walk in and then you're like in City Walk. And this area up here, like when you first walk in, kind of reminds me of that because there's a quick service food court here. There's a full restaurant and bar, and then there's a dessert quick service. I feel like that might be a made up thing, but you never know. And then there's like some stuff over here. I don't know if this is supposed to be like a parking garage over here, and then like what all this is here. So I think that they're still trying to get that. You're still going to have to walk to get to places. So, which is very, very similar to Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure. You still have to walk through some stuff to get to
the land.
The lands. So let's go over to Super Nintendo World for no particular reason other than I picked it.
You were there.
But yeah, I mean, I think we see some of it at Universal Studios Hollywood because they got the Nintendo ride here. We seem to be getting more because the Mario Kart, and then I learned about the Donkey Kong roller coaster today. Do they have the Yoshi family ride in Universal and Hollywood? I don't think so.
I know now I'm trying to remember what's in Hollywood because I've been like paying attention, but it's one of those like I don't want to spoil it. I know when it comes here, I don't want to know too much. It's like that weird like, but I think I'm pretty sure they have the Toad's Cafe quick serve, or they have something similar because I've seen a lot of the food that looks. It reminds me of something you're going to see like in Japan, like any of the parks there, like Universal there, like it just is so themed around me. It's so cool. So I think I think that's going to probably be one of the most, aside from Harry Potter, I think that's going to be the most popular land because, I mean, we already have 2 Harry Potter sections at both of the other parks. So I think that one appeals to everybody is going to be Super Nintendo because everybody knows the video games. They played them at some point. So
right. I feel like, because we almost went to California to do Universal Studios Hollywood, but then I was like, well, it'll be in Florida in like another year or 2. So I'm like, we can wait. And I've been to Universal Studios Hollywood. It's very different than here in Florida. Not here. Neither of us live in Florida.
Mentally, we're there
all the time.
That's what we mean.
But yeah, I think that's going to be fun. So we could talk about this very undecided area over here, this central hub area, because we have rumored flat ride. No idea what that is. The possible Starbucks, and of course, the most important, fountain display.
It's giving very Vegas, the fountain display. You know, maybe that's what I'm thinking of is like the Disneyland Paris Hotel, but also I'm thinking like Vegas with like the fountains and they're gonna have music playing and like, hey, you know what? I'm down for it. That's just what it's giving. I don't know.
Yeah. So, you know, I guess we'll kind of see that. I think some of the things that are more like rumor, things like that, you know, those might be some of the things that aren't going to be open right in 2024. And I think when they say they're going to have things are going to be open in 2024, it might not be everything. I haven't even any part of this hotel being built at all.
Nope.
Now, granted, you could probably develop pretty fast, but the structure, but the inside is the part that's good the time. Yep. So we'll have to see about that part. And obviously because this is a high-rise building, they're going to want everything pretty much before they allow you to stay here. Yep. That's my guessing. Oh, yeah. And again, we won't lose or not. So
one thing I just thought of too, the Starbucks right there. I'm just thinking of like every other park where there's a Starbucks, they're usually towards the front of the park or at least like a little bit closer in, like they're not going to make you walk like clear across the park to go get Starbucks because most people want it in the mornings and most people arrive at the parks in the mornings. So I think that's kind of interesting that that's like the possible slated spot for it.
Yeah, and I would say that's weird because in the hotels too have Starbucks. So it's not like it's going to be closer for the people in the hotels because you would just go get it in your hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I wonder if that will really be here. We will come back And if you're wondering, yes, Keeley and I will be there in 2024. And yes, we will still be annual pass holders. I don't care, but I'm sure it's going to cost more. But my biggest hope is that annual pass holders will get some sort of like preview.
Yep.
And that will be an entire reason to have an annual
Oh, I
pass.
agree. I absolutely agree.
Besides the fact that a universal annual pass is way more worth it than it is not that you could buy one at Disney, but
It is.
it's so much more worth it at Universal Studios.
And you get there's a lot more perks to it. Not only is it cheaper, but there's a lot of perks. Especially, I mean, when you move up in tiers, there's more and more perks than Disney.
Oh yeah. I mean, I get my free parking. I get better deal hotels.
Yeah,
Like
that too.
you have no idea how
Because
good your hotel deals.
they have consistent rolling
Mm-hmm.
rates for AP holders, right? Yeah, whereas Disney, you have to wait for that like sweet spot of if they announce it, when they announce it, what's it going to be? Whereas Universal's pretty much.
And usually you can find something or even up to like the week before.
Yeah.
So I've been really good able to get a lot of like club level rooms at the premier resorts. They normally always have that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not what this is about. Okay, let's move on to Monster World. So I don't really know what to say about this area. I've gotten mixed reports. Is it going to be family friendly? Going to be family friendly? What are the? It's supposed to be classers. I don't know what monsters that is.
So I'm thinking, going off of Halloween Horror Nights from last year, they did the Universal Monsters house, and that's kind of what's sticking in the front of my head. So that was, at least in the house, it was Dracula, the Mummy, and Wolfman.
Oh.
And I'm almost thinking too, because they took the Monsters Cafe out of studios. So now I'm kind of thinking it's going to be like that, because I know a lot of people were upset about that. And I always wish they had expanded on that. So I'm thinking maybe like Bride of Frankenstein, Dracula, Wolfman, Mummy. I'm thinking that's what it's gonna, because again, I feel like there's a lot of people that are really into that, and it's not just like a Halloween Horror Night. It's not just a Halloween thing. It's movie buffs. That's, again, your classic monsters. That's where a lot of those movies really started. So I feel like that again is that what that specifically would have, that would draw people in that normally I don't think would come to Universal necessarily. That might entice them a little bit more to want to come if they have that land. So I think that would widen their audience if they did something like that and really expanded on that specific, those specific IPs.
Mm-hmm. I think if you're walking around, your kids are not going to be like scared. It's not like Dracula is just going to come out of nowhere or something like that. But I think the dark ride and the roller coaster are not maybe going to be family friendly. There also seems to be like way too many dining locations. Like I don't anticipate that there's going to be three dining locations in this one area.
Yeah.
But it would be so cool if that barbecue restaurant was somehow like a Dracula themed restaurant.
They could, yeah. Yeah, I think they have a lot of things they could play around with that and could make it really cool themed. And again, for people who like Halloween Horror Nights, we have like a little section of the park year round.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I saved our area because it's gonna be my favorite. And today someone announced something, right? Or rumored about it.
Rumored that it's the Ministry of Magic, which how they can see that just from those aerial shots.
No.
I mean, I'll take it.
I'll take it. I think it's gonna be a little hard if we think about, I don't know. Like I feel in my mind, it's too far away from where the other two, like it's not, I feel like it's too far away from Diagon Alley to be that. But what else would it be? Like I don't know what else we would have unless I can't think of where Ron lives, what they call that.
Borough. I was just thinking that.
The borough, that was the other thing that people talked about, right? That it could be.
I've seen that. Yeah, but looking at those aerial shots too, like you can see it looks like Diagon Alley where it kind of, so that's why I'm thinking like Ministry of Magic may I don't know. That one's I feel like they're doing it on purpose too. I think they want
Oh,
people
yeah.
they want people to speculate. I mean, it was the same thing. My Universal, out of any theme park ever, is my favorite that does any of their marketing because they don't have to do any. My favorite was the whole Velocicoaster thing. So this was before I knew you, before I did the travel agent thing. When they were building Velocicoaster, nothing was announced. They didn't say a peep. They said nothing. And I don't know if you saw the running joke was it was a churro cart. Somebody like I think it was like from a Facebook group. So Universal took it and ran and like the opening day of Velocicoaster, I think the president of parks was standing there handing out churros. And I'm just like, that is so genius because it's people are talking about it. People feel like they're part of this inside joke that started out as that, but now the company's in on it. Also, I love their like shady side tweets to Disney. They're my friend's husband and I, so he's super into like park news and stuff. So we talk a lot. He's not on Twitter. I'm only on Twitter for this stuff. I
Oh,
will see
yes.
screenshots and I'm like, look what Universal said. Look what they said. Look, it's just, they're just so good at their marketing because they do like the bare minimum, but like in a good way. And I feel like allowing us to see this progress, especially that roller coaster, especially what's Harry Potter, whatever it's going to be, they just kind of let people go and they let people speculate and that does the marketing for them. And it's genius.
Right. And I really like it that they don't feel like with Disney, they'll tease it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not done as well.
Yeah.
Like
Disney strings you along and not in a fun way.
right. Like you give up because you're like, okay, like annual passes, I've given up officially. It's never gonna happen. They're
Dining
never
plan.
coming
What's
back.
that? Yeah.
Right? Like, and it's like you kind of get over it. You're like, okay, like this isn't like a challenging thing to do. Um, so with Universal, I kind of like it, and I like just seeing the progress, and I like that they don't feel like they have to say anything. Like I love speculating on what it could be, and I don't if I don't get what I'm speculating on, like I don't care.
Yeah.
Like right,
I'm
like
getting something, so I'm okay.
right, and I'm not being told that like in 7 months from now, you might be able to ride this ride. We're getting to the point where it's like, okay, in 18 months, this is going to be open and you can take part in this and you can add your annual pass to this and there won't be those like restrictions that you get. And I really do like Universal and I like the cheekiness. If you're an AP, you can be in this AP Facebook group. I swear it is the funniest thing on the internet. Like it's like, oh, these are my people here.
Oh yeah. I think I've been in that group since I got my first AP. I think it was in 2014. My friend and I we went when I graduated college and then we kind of made a tradition of it. And her and I knew we were going to do Halloween Horror Nights that year. So maybe it was 2015. And so we were like, let's just buy APs. We know we're coming back. And like, I joined that group immediately. And I was like, yes, I love that group. And the little tiny subgroups that have like kind of came out of it, I love. And like, it's just, yeah, the Universal community is free. I think it's just the fans. And again, that's just Universal itself.
I think that they really care. Definitely. So, all right. Anything else you want to talk about Epic Universe? Oh, let's speculate how you are going to do transportation between Universal Studios, Adventure, and Epic Universe. We're going to leave Volcano Bay out of this.
Yeah. I think at least a shuttle. And my thought though, I'm trying to think, there's shuttles that go from all the parks to Volcano Bay at minimum. I don't think there's not shuttles that go from the premier resorts because they're right there. That's it. There are.
Mm-hmm.
I think now. I don't.
They still will. They're not as frequent, but
Okay.
yes.
So it's like staying at like a Skyliner resort at Disney where the
Yeah.
buses still come, but it's not. Okay. Because I was gonna say, I always if I say premiere, I'm walking or taking the boat. Okay.
You should walk or take the boat.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. There's no need for that shuttle. Even when we stayed at Cabana Bay, I think we took the shuttle one morning because it was there as we were walking up, and we're like, why not? I think we brought it back once. So I definitely think a shuttle because they do that for Volcano Bay. Um, I think at minimum a bus. I
I
don't
do too, but I think that they are going to try and come up with some sort of new transportation. It won't be right when this opens,
know.
but I think that they'll be working on some sort of transportation. I just don't know what it looks like. In my mind, because of the Wizarding World, I think that they're going to do some sort of like underground thing. But I don't think in Florida you can do underground
Oh yes.
things. Yeah. So that takes that out. But I feel like there's going to be something. It's just not, I think at the beginning of the buses. And what I will say is Universal does buses amazingly because they're consistent, they're accurate, they come, like they're always coming. They're huge double buses, so they fit more people in them. But yeah, I mean, I guess that will be the big thing that I think. And I'm wondering is will they just at the 3 park ticket that's going to be Epic Universe, Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure or have to include Volcano Bay?
So okay, so I see what you're saying. So instead of the like 2 day park to park, it's gonna be like a 2 day three. I guess they would just change it to 3 park or yeah, it'd be 3 park would be yeah, they'd have to create a new tier. That's the one thing about Universal. The one big thing I don't like is the ticket names. The like 2 day park to park, 2 park. Like it's like
It's super confusing.
when I'm talking to clients, I'm like, give me a second, let me get this right. Or when I'm like quoting out, I'm like, okay, wait, day, how many of the parks and how many like
I know. It's so confusing. I think the biggest question I get is about like I don't understand the tickets at Universal. They are super confusing. I wonder if they'll get away with it and they'll just say, this is so you can get into any park.
yeah, they're gonna have to ease that because I mean I know technically this is the third gate. Volcano Bay is technically not a gate, but they treat with ticket wise they treat Volcano Bay as a third gate. So they're gonna have to change their verbiage because then you're gonna be saying 3 day 4 park to park or four, and they're gonna have to specify which ones they include. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think there might be an overhaul on their ticket names and descriptions. I mean, not only because again they're confusing now, but throwing in another park. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and
gonna be a lot.
yeah. I'll be interested to see how they work that all out. I think that'll be
Yeah,
interesting too.
yeah,
So,
for sure.
all right. Well, this was so much fun. I can't wait. Now I'm like super excited.
We'll have to come back like when it opens and like review this video and then go back and be like, oh, we were so wrong here. Like, oh yeah, we were right. We know what we're
Well,
talking about.
okay, first of all, this is someone else's guess. So I think we can definitely, we can get away with some stuff here.
Oh,
But yeah. I think that this is gonna be so much fun. And I can't wait. I can't wait for it to open to go and talk about it. It's gonna be so much fun.
fun. Yes.
It's gonna be so exciting. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Keeley, for coming on. Keeley's information is below if you would like with her. You don't have to wait for Epic Universe to come out, so you can book now with her. And my information is also below. So we will talk to you next time. Bye, everyone.